in every situation, the opponent always tries to attack first, and there is no move where you start the fight. This is because the ultimate goal of IAIDO is peace. Minasan konnichiwa, and welcome to Let's Ask Shogo. If you are a fan of Japanese katana swords, you may know about the martial art, IAIDO, which is still practiced today. You might have seen videos of trainees swinging katana swords while wearing traditional hakama dogi like this one I'm wearing right now. Because we use real katana or ones made from alloy, we do not fight each other like we do in Kendo. We practice something called kata, which are prescribed sword exercises assuming various situations in battle. However, have you ever wondered before, what are they specifically doing? If you haven't trained in IAIDO before, it might just look like we're randomly swinging our katanas everywhere. So today, as an IAIDO trainee, I will introduce 3 of the 12 standard IAIDO Kata that are determined by the All Japan Kendo Federation IAIDO Club and explain to you what we are actually doing. The All Japan Kendo Federation IAIDO Club is the biggest IAIDO group in Japan, consisting of different ryuha styles engaging together to preserve the culture. There are 12 kata that are determined as a way for different ryuha styles to practice and compete with each other. This is because, just like in karate, different styles have different techniques, and it's impossible to train together if there aren't any mutual training exercises. However, before I start, please understand that I am merely a student undergoing training in IAIDO myself, so my skills are undeveloped. I just hope that this could be a chance for you to get to know more about IAIDO, and maybe even be a chance to start training with me. Thank you very much for your understanding. それでは本日も刀を抜いて参りましょう。Then first, let's start taking a look at the history of IAIDO in order to deepen our understanding of what kind of martial art it is. I would like to break the history down into 3 points. 1. The method of sword drawing was invented. 2. Iaijutsu spreads among the samurai. 3. Revives as a martial art to train the mind. 1. The method of sword drawing was invented. It is widely believed that Iaijutsu, which will eventually become IAIDO, was invented by Hayashizaki Jinsuke about 400 years ago, around the end of the Muromachi period to the Sengoku era. Before the method of sword drawing was completed, Japanese warriors mainly trained in Kenjutsu from the Heian period, which were skills to fight in war with a sword already drawn from its sheath. Hayashizaki Jinsuke created a whole new art of sword techniques by completely separating the original Kenjutsu and the new Iaijutsu that focused fully on sword drawing. However, what does Iai mean? The term Iai consists of the 2 kanji characters, I and Ai, and the origin of this word believed to come from the saying, 常にいて急に合わす. This literally means to be constantly prepared to face the opponent immediately. So this explains the fundamental difference between Kenjutsu Kendo and Iaijutsu IAIDO. Whether it's let us fight in a war in game, or I'm ready to fight anytime if someone tries to attack me, to respond to sudden emergencies. 2. Iaijutsu spreads among the samurai. Coming into the peaceful Edo period after the long Civil War era, Iaijutsu began to be well practiced by the samurai as one of their main sword skills. Why? What happened to Kenjutsu that had a longer history? The skills of Kenjutsu are still passed down even to today. However, again, it mainly focused on the skills used on the battlefield. The Edo period did not have any wars for more than 2 centuries. So the samurai sword skills shifted from always having a sword in their hands to suddenly use their swords they carried on their waist in emergency situations. Yaijutsu was perfect for a samurai of the peaceful era, and eventually it became not only a technique for actual battles, but also as a culture that values etiquette and spirituality, as many new Ryuha styles were born. 3. Revives as a martial art to train the mind. After the Edo period ended and the Meiji Restoration began, the samurai class was abolished and holding a katana was prohibited in 1876 by the new westernized government as a part of their westernization policies. Also, after Japan lost World War II in 1945, the US seized katana swords from the Japanese and dismantled martial art federations as a part of the measures to entirely disarm Japan. The culture of sword skills faced crises of survival as holding a katana was prohibited for decades. However, thanks to the hard work of the katana masters and their trainees, they convinced the US to let Japan have katana as a culture of art. Today, IAIDO, along with all other sword martial arts, like Kenjutsu, Kendo, and Batodo, can be trained by anyone. If you'd like to learn more about the other sword martial arts, Kendo and Batodo, you can take a look at my other videos. Now, let's take a look at 3 different kata out of the 12 standard ones of the All Japan Kendo Federation IAIDO Club. One, 1本目, Mae. Mae is the first kata of the 12 standard kata, and it means front. The assumed situation is where you feel an atmosphere of hostility from the person sitting in front of you. You quickly attack the temple of the enemy by drawing your sword, and then swing the sword down to finish the battle. After you defeat the enemy, you swing your sword to shiburi, and then slowly sheath your sword. Shiburi is to shake the blood off your sword. That might rust the blade and damage the inside of the sheath. Also, you draw the sword quickly, but sheath it slowly, because you need to be cautious and ready to fight again until the very last moment of the kata, because the enemy that you took down or a different enemy might still try to attack you. This is called zanshin in Japanese, and it literally means to leave the heart or mind, which is also practiced in other Budo martial arts like Kendo and Kyudo. The real battle is not over until the very last second of the kata or game. 2. 3本目, UKENAGASHI. UKENAGASHI is the third kata of the 12 standard kata, and it means to parry or ward off. The assumed situation is where a person who was sitting on your left side suddenly stands up, draws his or her sword, and tries to swing it down on you. You first draw the sword up to parry, ward off the opponent's sword using the side of your blade. Once the opponent's sword has been fully parried, you turn your body to swing your blade down against the enemy. After you defeat the enemy, you bring the upper end of your blade to your right knee and re-hold the blade to sheath the sword. This movement implies how samurai used to wipe the blood off their blades with their cloths or handkerchiefs they always carried with them. Three, 4本目, TSUKA-ATE. TSUKA-ATE is the fourth kata of the 12 standard kata, and it means to hit with the tsuka, the end of the handle. The assumed situation is where you feel an atmosphere of hostility from the two people sitting in front and behind you. You first hit the opponent's stomach using the katana tsuka, then look back and draw your sword to stab the back opponent's stomach. Then finally swing the blade down against the enemy in the front. After you defeat the enemies, you swing your sword to the side for the chiburi, and then slowly sheath the sword. The sitting position you start this kata from is called Iai Hiza, meaning Iai knee. This is actually a way that the samurai used to sit when they wore armor in the past. Then, before I end this video, I would like to explain to you 3 facts about the IAIDO Kata. 1. The opponent will always attack first in every kata. 2. Kata are just an exercise and not a simulation. 3. There are more than 100 kinds of kata. As you might have noticed from listening to my explanation, in every situation, the opponent always tries to attack first, and there is no move where you start the fight. This is because the ultimate goal of IAIDO is peace, and to train a strong mind that doesn't need to rely on violence to communicate. We are taught in IAIDO that the true battle should be done within the sheath, meaning that drawing your sword and attacking must be your last option. Also, you might have thought as you listened, how could the enemies just be waiting for you to be cut? Yes, in reality, your opponents will not just stand there to be cut after you parry their swords, or just wait for you to stab them. Please think that although we say the assumed situation to explain the moves of the kata, it is more of just a sword exercise. In a real-life fight, you would have to select and combine all the skills and techniques you know of the sword in order to survive the situation. I only introduced 3 of the 12 standard kata, but each ryuha style will have a lot more, with situations from fighting an enemy across a sliding door, fighting inside a room with a low ceiling, or walking outside and fighting against 4 opponents. Please take a look at the other videos of IAIDO and try to guess what the assumed situations are. If someday I'll be able to have a bigger training area of my own, I'll try to make a part 2 of this video as well. Then lastly, today's conclusion. The history of IAIDO can be broken down into 3 points. 1. The method of sword drawing was invented. Iaijutsu was invented by Hayashizaki Jinsuke about 400 years ago as sword techniques that focused fully on sword drawing. 2. Iaijutsu spreads among the samurai. Iaijutsu was perfect for the samurai of the peaceful Edo era, and it eventually became not only a technique for actual battles, but as a culture that values etiquette and spirituality. 3. Revives as a martial art to train the mind. Iaijutsu became IAIDO after World War II as a new form of martial art meant for training the mind, thanks to the hard work of the katana masters and their trainings. I introduced 3 facts about IAIDO Kata. 1. The opponent will always attack first in every kata. The ultimate goal of IAIDO is peace, and to train a strong mind that doesn't need to rely on violence to communicate. 2. Kata are just exercises and not simulations. In a real-life fight, you will have to select and combine all the skills and techniques you know of the sword in order to survive the situation. 3. There are more than 100 kinds of kata. I only introduced 3 of the 12 standard kata, but each Ryuha style will have a lot more. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If this video helped you to deepen your understanding towards the Budo martial art IAIDO, please hit the like button to help me boost this video to more people. And my goal is to achieve 1 million subscribers by January 2023, so your help would mean a lot. In this channel, we take a closer look at Japanese traditional culture, tips on traveling to Kyoto, and social problems in Japan. So learners and lovers of Japanese language and culture, be sure to subscribe to enjoy more content. And if you'd like to learn more about today's topic, please take a look at my sub-channel, Shogo's podcast, through the link inside the description box. I would like to quickly explain about the 9 kata that I wasn't able to introduce in this main video. Thanks again, and I'll see you in my next video. どうもありがとうございました。And by the way, if you're really interested in training IAIDO, we made a perfect video where you can get your first sword and your dogi set. So please take a look at our Tozando video if you have some time.